shouldn't use it to start our board meetings.
You know what the Wi-Fi is? I can't even open up my computer.
Should we pause?
No, we were just looking at it.
John may know. John, do you know what the Wi-Fi is on here?
I'm not even getting any open Wi-Fi. All I have is everything's password. It might be.
It's the weather.
Oh,
Do you want to do your presentation next time?
You know, maybe when you can get it on the big screen.
It doesn't matter to me.
what was that?
I asked if he wants to do his presentation
It
next
doesn't matter
time.
to me when I do it.
Okay.
Lights are gonna go out anyway.
It sounds like the other way flickering right now.
Oh, because of the storm.
Yeah.
So,
If you can't get it up, probably have no
I
choice.
mean, it's kind of weird. So we had it, it was all ready to roll.
Well, the storm,
bet
there's
it's
a,
the storm
there's a
though.
major storm coming through.
This is gonna wind up.
I know mine doesn't work at home.
It just, didn't you?
Ignoring it?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and,
You don't have Wi-Fi there either to
I don't have
transfer?
anything. I'm not getting anything right now.
Oh,
So-
so we're not even live?
can you,
Oh,
re-
no, I'm hardwired in, so I'm good.
Oh,
okay,
I have
so,
no Wi-Fi.
so we can go ahead with the meeting.
Yeah.
Is it okay to do it,
I can wait.
the next
Okay.
meeting?
It doesn't bother me when we do it.
Let's do that,
So the next meeting would be,
28th.
28th,
and what time?
5.
5,
Okay.
Do you have a-
football practice.
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 Is that something I can show without you,
You can show the video, you can show the video.
right?
I mean, basically what it is that you guys have to watch this video and you have to sign that form.
Right.
And this is the same video that you guys would have watched in 2015.
Oh,
So-
we remember that.
Yes.
No.
So I
I
can
was
just,
gone.
I can talk real quick about it. And I can either, two things, I can show you guys, give you guys the link and you guys can do that.
We could
Is
do
this
that.
important for parents to see too, or
Um,
people in the community?
You know, I don't know if it's required by the community. I know on the Minnesota High School League website.
Good afternoon and welcome to today's meeting of the Fairmont School Board. It is Tuesday, August 14, 2018. Roll call is Dal and Dan are missing. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we have minutes to approve from last time. Entertain a motion
I so move.
Julie?
and a second.
I wasn't here.
Oh, and a second? I'll second it.
Okay, Rufus, okay.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and
I
agenda,
move to approve the August 14th, 2018 school board meeting agenda as presented.
thank you. A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And we move to celebrations. We have Matt Mahoney with us to share some news.
Well, good evening. Got a couple things here, and kind of before I get to maybe the why we play stuff, I do want to talk a little bit about last year. Last year we had a really good year in the activities department, and we're talking athletics, we're talking drama, we're talking clubs that we have. Overall, it was just a fantastic year. We ended up having 4 teams make it to the state tournament. We had cross country, football, wrestling got runner-up. Our speech team, which technically does not advance as a team, but they did win their section, which is kind of a big deal. And we had a handful of individuals move on. And then our boys and our girls track team also compete at the state level. So, and we also had a handful of individuals go at the state level. We had a AAA student, Emma Kaler, that ended up getting to the state level, which is something that happens very rarely. I think in my time now as an activities director, I think it's happened twice. So that's kind of a neat accomplishment by Emma. And another one that I think is kind of really neat to see is one of the things that I've been doing here the last handful of years is I've been tracking our student violations. So any type of a chemical violation, any type of a code of conduct violation, and I've been tracking those. Last week at our parent meeting, I talked about how in 2000, I think it was 16-17 year, we ended up having 53 violations, and out of those 53, 31 of them were athletes, or in a type of an activity of some sort, whether it was band, choir, knowledge bowl, speech, anything that related. Last year we ended up having 45, so it's not a huge drop as far as the violations occur, but the really neat thing was we had 4 students that were in some type of activity get a violation of code of conduct. So it was really fun to see the students, the student athlete. I mean, they were behaving. They were good kids, and they not just in the classroom but also out on the street. So it was a really good year, I thought, for me as an activities director, just working with coaches, parents. Student athletes, administration. It was just a really successful year, and I think one of the terms that I'm going to use going into this year, and I talked about it at our parent meeting, was the consistency. Going into this year, we have 43 different activities, and again, we got athletics, we got fine arts, we have clubs, we have the drama. Out of those 43, we have all of our advisors are coming back. And so that's kind of a big deal. Our administration team out at the high school, everybody's coming back, and I think I look at very successful programs and organizations, and they all have that one common term, and that's consistency. And so I know for me coming into this year, I'm really looking forward to it. I also, one thing I did today is I kind of looked at our participation numbers, and I don't know what our number is 7-12 in the high school, like I know they had their registration stuff yesterday. But I know this, we have a total of 416 kids out for a fall sport. And that's pretty impressive in my opinion. I'm going to kind of break it down here for you. Cheerleading has 21, girls tennis has 35, cross country has 43 total, and we got 25 females, 18 males. We have 49 in boys soccer, we have 71 in volleyball, 71 in girls soccer, and 108 in football. And so I broke it down one step farther. That's 241 females, 175 males to get us to 416. So we have 400 kids in our building that are going to be out for a fall activity. So that's pretty awesome. That's pretty exciting to see.
Wow.
So any questions as in regards to the start of the season last year? One other highlight I thought was, we had a former graduate, Luke Beck, get drafted in the 9th round by the San Diego Padres. So that's kind of cool to see. It's our first ever that I know of that has been drafted by a major league sports team. So it was a good school year last year, and I hope we can kind of build on to that going into this year. So any questions on anything you got before I get to why we play?
We hope to have another good year.
Yeah, yeah, so do I, and like I said, I think one of the things that I haven't done yet, and I'll hopefully have it done by Monday, but I know I look at our fall coaches, and we got, Bob Bonk, we got Eric Johnson, we got Matt Nielsen, we got Deb Heinrich, we got myself, we got Brady Meyer, we got Haley Lortz. And if you look at the number of years that those just our fall coaches have coached in their time here at Fairmont, it's pretty impressive. I'm going into my 12th year. I think Matt Nielsen's going into his 14th year. Bonk and Eric Johnson are over 20 years. Bonk might be over 40 years. But it's very impressive. It's really very impressive, the staff and the commitment that we have right now.
I think one thing worth mentioning is the honor that Bob Bonk received with the National
Absolutely.
Coach
Yeah.
Coaching Award.
National Girls Cross Country Coach of the Year. It's one thing just to be, to be a state, and that's very, very, very few people get that. And that's something I got to put on my notes here. But for him to get that, and I remember talking to Coach Bonk, and he was going out there, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to get it. And he was talking to his wife, yeah, I just don't think, I'm going to get it. And the next thing you know, they say Bob Bonk. And so that was kind of a neat honor for him. But that goes to show you, too, what Bob has done over the years as a cross-country coach and a track coach and a guidance counselor in our school district. He was a counselor for me in high school. He was my coach coming up. Danielle and I were both on state championship teams with Coach Bonk. And now he's a colleague of mine, and he kind of works for me now, but he's also probably one of my top 5 mentors in my life. And so he's very deserving of that honor. So, yep. Thanks again for bringing that up. So, anything else as far as the school year and whatnot? Just want to take a quick minute here and just talk about why we play. I came back here in August of 2015, and I talked to you guys about why we play, and the Minnesota State High School League at the time was making this initiative to talk about it. And so when I came here, I actually kind of put up together a flyer of some sort, and there was kind of 5 talking points. It talked about the history of why we play. There's a video on why we play that I'm going to share with you guys as a board. I'm also going to put that on our school website, so the public, parents, student athletes, anybody can view that video. Some common language, and how will success be defined by our school district. And then I also have what our Fairmont purpose statement is, as well as my purpose statement. So I'll kind of share that both with you here. And the history of why we play, it started, like I said, in 2015. It was the first year of it. And it's Jody Remmen from the Minnesota State High School League. She has really partnered with Joel Erdman on this video. And those two are talking. It's more about the education that we're giving students compared to the scoreboard and what the results look like and what the win and loss records are at the end of the day. And there's some common language in there that there was some points that I wrote out on my scratch notes here that talked about it. Right away, it talks about coaches that are win at all costs coaches. Like I said, there's the scoreboard and there's the results. And the one thing that stood out to me when I watched this and when you guys view this, take just a minute to think about this. We have transformational coaches and we have transactional coaches. And Coach Bob Bonk is your perfect, ideal transformational coach, and he is your mentor. He is your leader that's not going to just throw the ball out there and say we have to win at all costs in order to be successful in life. And he's not that. He's that transformational coach that is going to walk you through it. And if you make a mistake, which we all do, he's going to be the one that's going to build you back up. We're going to learn from the mistake and we're going to move on. And I think that was probably the one thing that I took away from watching this video. And then the other thing that is attached to this is that there's a continuing ed that all coaches have to take. So if you are coaching what the Minnesota State High School League would consider 10th through 12th, like a JV or a varsity or a B squad, we are required to do these CERs. And they're good for every 3 years. So last year, all of our coaches basically had to do them last year. And if we have any new coaches, they'll have to do them this year. Once you get through the 4, then some sports require a rules test. And so like from football, I have to take a rules test before our first game. And so that's just the part of the continuing ed. It does talk about the heat safety. There's a situation going on in college football right now with the death of a player and so on and so forth. There's a lot of stuff on bloodborne pathogen in there. There's a concussion protocol in there, and then there's just some other things that I can't think of off the top of my head. But back to the why we play. One of the things that we did as a staff at our athletic council meeting, we came up with our Fairmont Area Schools purpose statement. And so I'm just going to read that to you. And I'm not 100% positive, but I'm going to look into it to see if it is on our website, because I think it's really, really good. And I think it's something that should be out there. Fairmont area schools will foster an environment for student athletics and activities where commitment, responsibility, and respect for others is a source of pride for our student athletes, coaches, parents, school, and community. So that's kind of what we came up as coaches, and I believe maybe Dan Brookins was in there when we came up with this. And Joe, did you attend that over in Jackson, I believe? And we came back and kind of thought what was best for Fairmont. So, so that's our school district purpose statement. And I'm just going to show you with mine as well. And every head coach that has the CER requirement, they have their purpose statement. They have to have a purpose statement in order to continue on with the steps. So I'm just going to share with you mine real quick. My coaching purpose this fall is to instill responsibility into my football players on the field and in the classroom. I want them to understand and demonstrate accountability in every aspect of their lives, and to be honest with their coaches, teammates, but most importantly, themselves. So every coach in our district, head coach, has some type of a purpose statement. So,
Hey, Coach, are we putting those purpose statements on the programs? And if not yet, that might be something I would suggest, especially the district one.
yep,
And then for each sport, whether it's football or volleyball,
Yep.
Any sport that we have a program, it'd be nice to put those purpose statements there. It's a great statement.
yep,
It
And,
is. Some of those, I mean, you could do it for the fall sports, put one in for, I mean, you know, to individualize it maybe, and that could, otherwise I think they're mass-produced,
And sometimes the hard part is when we do our, and I'd have to look into this, but when we get our programs, we do a mass production of them, but I think we could get our district one on there.
I think the district one would at least be good.
Yep,
At least, I mean,
Yep.
and then if, you know, the other coaches have, you know, some other input,
yep.
but.
And sometimes we do have inserts that we put in there, and that might be an option that we could look into,
Yep,
so,
good.
okay. Anything else?
Any prediction on the football record this year, Coach?
We're live right now, Joe. I would say, you know, going into this year, we have a lot of returners. I actually just had to fill something out for the state, and, you know, we have a lot of returners coming back. I'd love to see if we're at worst 6-2, 7-1, maybe an 8-0 if we can play our cards right. So, looking forward to it. You know, we got all of our coaches back, and it's gonna be a fun year. So,
Your first game is when and against whom?
Blue Earth area, Thursday, August 30th, over there at Blue Earth. So, playing for Little Brown Jug.
The link maybe for the Why We Play video, maybe we
Yep.
could put that in the paper,
Yep, sure can.
so that could be
Yep.
something that the community then could have that
No
access.
problem.
I'm sure Miss Will Robbie would be glad to do that for us.
Yep.
Thanks, Brooke.
Anything else?
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Do you want us to pass that resolution tonight?
Yeah, that'd be great. That way we can get that up to the state high school league.
Right, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Is that okay?
So we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a resolution. Be it resolved that the governing board of school district number 2752, County of Martin, State of Minnesota, delegates the control, supervision, and regulation of interscholastic athletic and fine arts events, referred to in Minnesota statute section 128C. .1 to the Minnesota State High School League, and so hereby certifies that the State Commissioner of Education has provided for by Minnesota statutes. Further resolved, the high schools listed below, Fairmont High School, renew its membership in the Minnesota State High School League.
Okay,
Need a roll call?
yep. We have to second that?
We need a second.
Yes.
Okay. That's you.
Are you
Okay.
taking- Nicole said it, but,
Nicole?
but I'm just gonna say, before we go for roll call, we get a second at
Daniel
first.
and
you.
Nicole, okay.
Okay, roll call. Danielle?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks, Matt.
Cool.
Thank you,
Thank
Coach.
you.
Okay, Superintendent?
First of all, if you look at your pink sheet, I'll highlight a couple of the upcoming events. First of all, this week, Thursday, August 16th, there will be a policy committee meeting at 4:30 in the afternoon at the business office. And if you look down the road there, Tuesday, August, that should say 27th, is our back-to-school picnic. On the sheet, it says the 28th, but it should be the 27th.
It's Monday.
Monday.
It's
It's
Monday.
Monday.
Thank you. Yes, it's
Monday is the, I think,
Also-
the key, maybe.
Monday, August 27th. The back-to-school picnic will be held at Gomsrud Park from 5 o'clock to 6:30, and board members that are available. Traditionally, we always have you serve the food, and that's a nice event to go to. Just a heads up, too, on Friday of this week, August 17th, we have a group of people gathering. We're going to be working on the $500,000 school security grant. If you can recall, the legislature last year passed a $25 million appropriation, and $12.5 million has to be spent on out-of-state or greater Minnesota school districts. The other $12.5 million has to be spent in the metro, and it's for school security. And we'll be putting together a proposal. It's not due until August 29th, but on that day, that's when you submit your total application online, and we want to be prepared to do that. And our game plan is this Friday we'll put that package together. But we think we have a pretty good shot at that. If you could recall, Principal Trado did a survey that of 33 school districts in our region, and there's only 2 that people can come right into the building and go 3 different ways. And so we're going to want to do everything we can to go after this $500,000 grant from the state and try to get security. And if
To
the-
get
if-
more security.
to get
be more
additional
secure.
security, yes. And I did meet the new school resource officer last week. I had a good meeting with him, and we're going to enjoy working with him. And a couple of other things. Every year I usually make a button for the staff, and we always have a theme, and this year it's going to be called Go Ape with Fairmont Area Schools, and APE standing for 3 things. I was at a conference at the school board convention and MASA, the superintendent's convention last week up in the cities. And one of the speakers, in fact, she's a professor at Mankato State, and she talked about the fact that, we all get hung up on things that we can control, and there's lots of things that we have no control over. And she says, the more I thought about it, there's only 3 things that individuals have total control over: their attitude, their preparation, and their effort. Attitude, preparation, and effort. And I think that's a great message for our entire staff to think about this year, and also for all of our student body to think about. That of all the things to worry about, those are the 3 things you have control over. What type of attitude you have when you come to school, are you prepared, and what's your effort? And so our theme this year is Go Ape with Fairmont Area Schools. The other speaker that was most impressive, the retired superintendent from Ventura, California. Now that has a little bit of a link to Minnesota. If you remember, we used to have a governor called Jesse the Body Ventura. Well, Jesse Ventura, that's not his original name, but he got that name when he was in the Navy SEALs out in California, and he always liked the name Ventura, California. So he became known as Jesse the Body Ventura. Anyway, the retired superintendent spoke at our conference, and Ventura School District is huge, 108,000 students, 10,000 staff.
Oh, my gosh.
Big district. But she retired 2 years ago. Now she goes around to speak. And her big theme is asking us to really think back at our current school district and ask ourselves, how open are our doors for all kids? Are our doors open for everybody? And she gave example after example after example of things that schools do throughout the country that she really questions. And here's an example. She came across a high school where the English teacher, this is not us, by the way, but an English teacher was telling the kids that if you go to the local opera or local musical that's being shown downtown, and the tickets were $35. If you go, I'll give you 25 extra credit points if you bring back your ticket stub. Now, like many communities, there are some kids that $35 wouldn't be a big deal. But in many communities, there's a group of people that, boy, $35, you might be able to get that out of mom and dad, but maybe not. And there's a whole group of kids that are going to look at that opportunity and go, that's not going to happen. So I'm not even going to participate. I'm not even going to try. And she said, now what would happen if the teacher said, if you give me $35, I'll give you 25 extra credit points? We would go, well, that's not right. But sometimes our policies do that. And when I think about Fairmont, I think about, in fact, I was yesterday it ties in with student registration. We have a lot of new students that are coming to our school this year. A lot of new students. But I met a lot of new families yesterday at student registration. And I would always give them one of my business cards and ask them to call me or email me if they wanted to talk or needed any additional assistance. But I also talked to them. I had my ID badge. And I said, you know, one of the nice things about Fairmont is that we give every student an ID badge, and that's their free activity pass. Really? They get in free? I said, yes. We want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to come to the football game or the volleyball game or the basketball games. And we just don't charge our students. And we also provide breakfast for all students that are available, and we don't charge. Obviously, you know, we as a society pay for that, but we don't charge students for free breakfast. And it's true we don't have any free lunch, but at our school district, students can have free breakfast. And we've opened a lot of doors. And our board, I appreciate all the work that you've done. We've opened a lot of boards for all of our kids, a lot of doors for all of our kids. And we're just going to make sure that everybody has an ability to open the door and go through the door if they want to. And then, of course, the article that was in the paper last week that Brooke wrote about, we now have 20 college classes. 68 college credits can be earned at our school. And we also have a wonderful fine arts program, and we have a wonderful vocational program. So we're giving all different types of kids all these different opportunities because we're not a cookie-cutter school. Every student is different. Every student is unique. And that's what makes our school so special. And so I really came away from our conference this year thinking, you know, we're doing a lot of good things here. So.
Did the superintendent comment about using a community outreach person, as we have recently hired, you know, the impact of that?
You know, that superintendent did not, but thanks for, I did have a note down here, Jessica Martinez. Jessica and I went and visited the Department of Human Services the other day. And we met with a number of people. There were 20 people in this meeting. And Jessica also did a superb job yesterday during student registration when we would have families that came in that spoke very limited English. She immediately just went right to them and walked them through the entire process. Went and got their pictures taken, had them sign up for lunch program, get the students registered in the school. I mean, Jessica was she was great yesterday. And the reason why I took her down to Human Services is, once again, anytime the Human Services are asked to do a house visit, if they need an interpreter, I've offered Jessica her services to the county, that if she can be available to come in and help the social service worker. We've also offered her services to law enforcement in case the law enforcement comes across a situation where they really need someone to interpret. She's done a great job, by the way, of already translating our handbook and different documents at our school. She's done just a superb job, and Mr. Davison might want to talk about that when he gets up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm done. Okay.
You know, just one comment in regard to, you know, Brooke's article about, you know, the course offerings for college credit. One thing that, you know, the board and you, Joe, have noticed is that the students, you know, that we have a group of students, you know, that maybe, you know, there may be a language barrier or an economic barrier that don't partake of those courses. And so that's one goal that, you know, that we have, is trying to increase, you know, the number of, you know, we want to increase the diversity of students that are enrolling those classes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Donation.
Finances, donations, Danielle?
All right, we have two of them. Our first one is, whereas donors chose funded two flexible seating projects which will provide Fairmont Elementary with a variety of new furniture, including tables and chairs. The value of this donation is $638. Be it resolved by the Fairmont Area School Board to gratefully accept this gift.
Second.
And we'll do roll call. Danielle?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Nicole?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Motion passes. And another one?
All right. Whereas GKN Armstrong Will donated 6,000 pounds of scrap metal for our summer welding academy, be it resolved by the Fairmont Area School Board to gratefully accept the gift.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Danielle?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Nicole?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Danielle. And Julie, finances?
Yes, in your packet, you'll have two sets of bills and stuff because of the meeting that we would have had 2 weeks ago, or about there. The second one for that was tabled for the month of, the second meeting from July. But you also have transfers and wires for July 4th to August 9th. I don't have anything here to really bring up to you. It's just that the total payroll disbursement is $1,257,479. And then in your packet, like I said, there's also with it, you're gonna have a P card register, fiscal year 18 register yet, and then the one that's not marked is the fiscal year 19 coming up. Nothing really on the P card one. Fiscal 18, I don't, well, there's really much in that one either that, I mean, there was a Fairmont Sentinel ad for a preschool teacher. We're always using the Sentinel to do our advertising and stuff. Otherwise, nothing much in there. And then in the fiscal year 19 bills, Fairmont Area Chamber of Commerce, Joe Brown, membership is on there. The Sentinel, notice for filing dates for school board election today, was the final time to register for school board election. So that is now completed, and we've already talked about having the 4 individuals to run for that position. And that's about it on that I want to bring up. And then I have the ones for this period, and there is P-card, MASBO, which is annual membership for Sue Nelson, some insurance, workman's comp, the cell phone bill, those are kind of routine. The fiscal 18 bills, Interlochen Golf Club, there's golf course usage for Interlochen boys and girls. We do pay a fee to those golf courses. This is one that got missed for last year, so we got that paid now. And the Music Mart fiscal year, the 18, this is a violin set that was purchased. And then our bills for the current year. Let's see, what would be interesting to talk about? There's City of Fairmont, some youth activity scholarships, Culligan Water Softening, there's ALC, the water, we pay that for them. One I did question on here was Dulcimer Medical Center, hepatitis B vaccine. All of our staff is available that they can get a vaccine, just for anybody's notice that they were interested in that, they can get that. The Sentinel again here is a classified ad for long-term sub, school board meeting, and the sub-teacher meeting. I think that's just about it, but, okay, any questions on any of those? Yes.
Julie, I'm going to just highlight 2 other things in 2 different years, but there's 2 payments, one to Bethel University for Mrs. Garbers, and one for Bethel University for Mr. Bodine. Both of these teachers went back to school this summer to earn their work-based learning certificates. And the beauty of that is, as we're already starting to plan the 1920 school year, a year from now, because both of these teachers now will be certified so that when we reestablish the work-based learning, where students can actually go out and, for high school credit, work in different organizations, manufacturing, or different facilities in our community, they can do that under the license of these 2 teachers. And so whether it's food service or healthcare or manufacturing, those are going to be very important to do, because that's something that as we make sure that all kids are career and college ready, that we really feel that that's something that we want to really expand. remember, those of you that have been around for a while, we used to have that type of program
We used
here
to.
years ago, and when we were the vocational center, and that's something we want to continue to do, and not just for vocational, but also healthcare.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, very good.
Any
So-
other questions, comments? Okay. If not, I'll make a motion to approve the July 2018 Treasurers Report. Did we have a single check? I didn't see a single check. Wire transfers for July 4th, 2018 to August 9th, 2018, and payment of the July 24th and August 14th bills.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Julie. We have no old business, new business. Jim Davidson will present the family handbook.
Yep. Should be a short presentation because last year we redid the entire family handbook, met with all kinds of people, made some major changes to kind of mirror what we believe in as an elementary school. Our philosophy in elementary school is simple. We deal with little kids. We want to grow them up academically. We want to grow up socially, and kids make mistakes. Adults make mistakes. So what we focus on in our student handbook and our family handbook is just the idea that you need to learn from your mistakes. You have certain rights, but there's an awful lot of responsibilities that go along with those rights. So we teach those to the kids all the way through so they can end up graduating and be productive members of society. That's our overall focus with that. There are not any changes in here at all, and over all the years that I've been doing this is my 30th year bringing this kind of document here. I've never had a year where we haven't had any changes at all. So I'm just going to ask the board if they have any particular questions on this.
So it sounds like what was in place last year worked.
It did. And in fact, we, as the board knows, we need to give this document to a lot of different groups. Gave it to summer school parents for them to take a look at and give us feedback on it. We give it to our ASAs, get ideas from that. We give it to our deans of students because a lot of times they're the people who kind of refer to these things all the time. And we gave it to our social workers. And the last group we gave it to was our PBIS team, our Positive Behavior Intervention Strategies team. And they looked over the whole thing too and agreed this mirrors our philosophy. It's made up of teachers through the whole building. So we feel pretty secure, and this is what we are all about, and this is what we want to do next year, this upcoming school year.
What about the kids? Do we ask the kids?
Typically, no, we don't. Not a lot. We have not gotten feedback from kids before with that. So that's something for us to look to
Well,
do
yeah,
next year, Rufus, with our sixth grade kids.
Yeah, especially, the sixth graders, if they've gone through the system and, their experience may be helpful in ferreting out, some opportunities
It's a very good idea.
that, we as adults, are totally blind to.
Oh, yes.
Well, look at how they have helped us and helped themselves within the school building, how they
Yes.
have brought up things that we did not see that need to corrected
Right.
or, anything within our building. So I mean, yes, that would be very good.
No, that's a very good idea.
Do you remember a couple of years ago, we had a young man, unfortunately, he transferred to another school, but his big issue was he wanted to get rid of our single-ply toilet tissue.
I remember that.
Do you remember that? Yeah.
I do remember that.
He was a great, Nate was his name?
Yes,
He was a great kid.
he is a great kid.
Unfortunately, the family moved to another location, but that was his big deal.
Was that one of the prerequisites for moving?
No,
Let me see your toilet tissue before we sign up, right?
I did talk to him about, you can actually double it up yourself. But anyway, but it was a learning, I did appreciate that.
It is,
That's
yep.
That'd be a nice project, though, for sixth grade student council.
I think it'd be awesome.
Yep.
Actually, student council, well, we are so pleased with the leadership we're seeing in sixth grade kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I got to give Mr. Buss a lot of credit for that. He's kind of taken the lead with that. But our student council has been awesome and taken a lot of responsibility. You folks have seen that too. This is what we need to do. This is what we want to change. We raise and lower the flag every morning. Teach our kids flag etiquette. That's an important thing for our kids to do. And we have a lot of kids that want to do that, even when it's 40 below zero, where the teachers don't necessarily want to go out to supervise them. The kids go out there and they're willing to do it. Crossing guards. Awesome with the crossing guards. And then they are the ones that run a lot of our PBIS lyceums. When we meet with the kids, we talk about anti-bullying. They're the ones that put together videos. And there is a weekly show that they put on news of Fairmont Elementary School, our sixth graders do it. And Amy, our social worker, put that all together. That's broadcast every Friday and gets rave reviews. So, and that's all because of sixth graders' initiative with that. So we look forward to it. It's fun to see them, and it's really fun for me to watch them develop. When I go over to registration, it's awesome, because I get to see all the kids that are saying, "You're still here." You know, got a scenario with that. Geez, we thought you were super old back then. I said, well, I'm just older now. So it's just great to see all the kids and see what
Older
they're
and
doing.
wiser.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys want to take a vote on that one or not, but older, definitely. Older, definitely. So I ask the board for approval of this.
Okay. I move to approve the 2018-19 Family Handbook for the Fairmont Elementary School as presented in Appendix C.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so you have some personnel matters,
Yes.
medical leaves, Julie?
Yes. Pam Bralsma is requesting a family medical leave beginning August 27th, 2018, extending through January 18th, 2019, or per medical recommendation. So I would make a motion to approve that family medical leave for Pam for those dates.
Second.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Fine.
Number 2?
And then Rusty Burnham is requesting a medical leave beginning August 9th, 2018, extending through September 6th, 2018, or per medical recommendation. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Julie. And employment, Nicole?
Yeah, Danielle, would you mind doing employment?
That's fine. Yeah.
Won't torture anybody anymore with my voice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So our first one is I make a motion to approve the fall coaches 2018 for the 2018-2019 school year, which everyone's got a copy of that in there. So
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion
I just,
passed. Oh,
yeah, I would just like to mention here, just looking at this, what is that? So we got 6 new coaches into our system, so I mean, that's good that we're getting some new people. Not that we have to replace anybody or anything, but it's nice to get some new blood and stuff into our coaching system, so that's nice.
Good point.
And 3 of the 6 are former students.
Wonderful.
Isn't that something? Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, so did we vote?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then let's see. Just this one?
Yeah, 2, yeah.
I make a motion to approve the employment of Jessica Carson as a long-term substitute first grade teacher beginning August 27th, 2018 through January 18th, 2019, or until the regular teacher returns at a salary of BA Step 1.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Danielle. And resignation?
Yes, Kathleen Davidson, Davison, is a Title I aide, and she has indicated that her request that she would like to resign and will not return to work this current fall. She has served within our district since 2008. Excuse me. So then I would make a motion approving that resignation of Kathleen Davison as a Title aide effective for the 18-19 school year.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Danielle, would you mind doing contract settlements?
Sure.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so we have 4 of them. Just read through them all individually or
I think you
as
can-
one motion?
I think you can do them all at one.
All in one, okay. So our first one is the media technicians. It's a 2-year contract for 2018 through 2020. And there is a 50-cent increase per hour each year, and then 20-cent hour increase in health insurance contribution. And the third one, language providing for reimbursement of unused personal leave days at the current substitute teacher rate of pay. And the second one is online computer instructor, a 50-cent increase per hour each year of the agreement, which is a 2-year for 2018 through 2020. The next one is a bus driver for 2018 through 2020, a 50-cent increase per hour each year of the agreement. And the last one is for aides, which is a 2-year contract, 2018 through 2020, a 50-cent increase per hour each year of the agreement. So I make a motion to approve the following 2-year contract settlements for the 2018 through 2020 school years for media technicians, online computer instructor, bus driver, and instructional supervisory aides.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Danielle. So we move to board committee reports.
Propose.
Yep.
Yeah.
Julie, anything from Southern Plains?
Yep, I bet we did meet, didn't we? Let me think here. I didn't even thought about that.
Back in July 30th.
Back in July, a whole month ago, we did meet and we did some discussion. We met with architects and that's right, we talked about a lot of the design of not so much the building. We did do some talk about the building, and they're still looking at moving stuff and that too with the building of the, and I'll get back to it's Lincoln School that we've purchased with the Southern Plains, and that was finalized just this last Friday, that sale went through and that. So the Southern Plains Educational Co-op does now own the Lincoln School building. But we did go through the architects and stuff. We went, and there is a proposal, I believe it went to the city council. There's a street that if you look back at it, I mean, eminent domain, I would think would, fall for this. But there is a street that goes through, then here's Lincoln School, and here's the street on the other side. And so we're just asking the city to correct that and make that work. And it was plotted at one time in different plots. And, we're not interested in breaking that off and selling that. We want to keep the building whole in that. So there's just some cleanup stuff with that. But otherwise, it was just basically the normal stuff. But we did do some talking quite a bit with the architects and the designers and stuff about some of the changes in that will be coming forth in that building. So
Yeah, thank you.
be exciting. It'll be fun and exciting. And I mean, it's not going to be a building that will be flashy, that will be, but it will be best for our kids. It'll be, sound for our kids. It'll be a good building for our programs. It'll be all in one building. We're going to have our offices. The Southern Plains Educational offices will also be in that building. So that'll be a big savings as well for our district. So, okay.
Okay. Joe, anything more from conferences? It was the school board and the superintendent.
Right. Annually, the MSBA, the Minnesota School Board Association, has a meeting on Sunday night and Monday, and then the Minnesota Association of School Administrators, in conjunction with the Minnesota Department of Education, have a meeting on Tuesday and Wednesday. I do want to add one thing. There was another kind of, in addition to school security, which is always a theme this time of year, we spent a lot of time on mental health. In fact, I went to a breakout session Sunday evening for 3 hours. That we paid extra for that, but that was there were probably 200 people in that seminar talking about the need for mental health and talking about the stresses, that many of our families and our children are going through in society right now. And that was nothing really new to us, but it was nice to listen to what different schools are doing and just the neat thing about having that joint conference is that the first day and a half you're working almost exclusively with school board members, and then the next 2 days you're working with superintendents and principals, and it's really nice to get that whole team together for 3.5 days.
Anything on the curriculum front? Anything that
Yeah.
people are trying different?
Well, yes, actually, I brought back a packet from Eastern Carver School District about personalized learning. And that was really fascinating because they're probably the one school district that is the farthest advanced in terms of doing personalized learning for students. And they pointed out that they are in their 9th year, and they still haven't fully implemented it.
Wow.
They just said it takes a long time. And so it's almost going to be a whole generation of students who have gone through their entire system, but it's taken a long time to get, and the superintendent admitted that not everybody is on board, not every teacher's on board. They still have some faculty that are maybe from the old school and teach their own way, but the vast majority of them have moved, and they've made some significant progress. So that was also another general theme. Going to these conferences, you usually have 6 opportunities to go to breakout sessions. You can only attend 3. But all of their presentations are online, and so we'll go ahead and pull them down and get copies of them. And so,
And as well as yourself, some of the administrators and teachers were away at conferences over the summer?
right, the principals, especially Kim and Andy, went to a number of conferences related to personalized learning. They had I think there were 12 or 14 high school faculty that went also for personalized learning. So we're moving. I mean, and I will tell you this too, Jody Christensen is just putting together the final results, or I should say, she's analyzing the final results, but the state has given us our preliminary data for the MCA scores, our Minnesota Comprehensive Assessment scores that came out. And school districts get a chance to look at those for about 10 days before they're made public to the community, and during the state fair is when they release those. And but our preliminary reports are pretty exciting. It shows that we've had another year of growth, and we're moving. It's sometimes it's a glacier, but it's moving, and it's moving in the right direction, I should say. So
Well, that's better than stagnant.
yes,
Or not changing at all.
right.
I mean, that is wonderful.
Yeah. Well, we've got, once again, when I go again, I get to spend a lot of time with my colleagues, and when I'm at those conferences, and you sit and you listen to them, and you hear about the issues that they are dealing with and the concerns they have at their school, and once again, unbelievably, I'm quiet, because I don't like to brag, but the fact of the matter is financially we're in great shape, our facilities are in great shape, our faculty are in great shape. We have really good families and we have great kids. And you hate to brag about that too much because you don't want to be showing people up, but we're very fortunate here in Fairmont. We just got a lot of good things happening.
The important thing is, we are blessed with, with a lot of things that are going well, but, as Julie says, we continually need to push forward because, even the schools in Carver County, after 9 years, they're still, they still haven't, gotten to the final result.
Well, that's reassuring to know that it doesn't change overnight.
Right.
That we can, as long as we understand that, others are struggling that same way, as long as we keep going forward and up, boy.
Yeah, so there's always challenges at the school board, and that's what makes it exciting. Makes it hard work sometimes, but we're
Kind of scratch our heads once in a while.
but we're all on the same page, and hopefully through collaboration, and hard work, and what's the other? That's attitude,
Attitude, preparation, and effort.
Yep, you
And
got it.
effort. Ape, go ape.
I wrote it down.
So we can, and I can make ape sounds too. I
Please
won't-
don't.
I won't do that. But, you just had, one more thing you just touched on is, it's so important though for the community, parents, grandparents, anybody who lives in our district, to feel free to come forward to talk to you individual board members, talk to individual teachers, talk to the custodians, the people that work in the food service, the bus drivers, administration. We're all in this together. We all do better when we all do better. That's the punchline. We all do better when we all do better. And we have to continue to listen to what people are telling us and what people are suggesting. And it's great that we have that dialogue going on. We're a very open district, and I think our community appreciates that.
One area of dialogue that we still have to work on is our dialogue with our teachers.
Yes.
We have not been able to, to break through, on that barrier. We need collaboration. We need to hear their ideas and their concerns. And,
But there again too, we just gotta keep after it. We just
Right.
gotta be the ones to, keep offering that. And I don't wanna get anybody in trouble, but it's almost 6:00. And we're supposed to be closed by 6:00.
Okay, well, I will entertain a motion
I so move.
for adjournment. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're
Aye.
done.
Okay.